Welcome back for the final event of the weekend, the sprint race. Here, the top 8 from yesterday's feature race are reversed to make up the grid below us, and in just a few minutes, those drivers will be hurtling down into turn 1. Davide, is there anything we should be looking for in today's race? The teams are all very competitive at the moment, so are we about to witness a push from anyone in particular?
Hi Alex, the team will have been studying everyone else out there very carefully, so I think we are in for a very interesting event today. I can't wait to see how this race unfolds.
You should have some space going into the first corner, so try to keep it tidy.
Hello everyone and welcome back guys to round 8 of the F2 Mick Schumacher career mode, where today we're here back for the Hungarian GP sprint race. Now, a bit of an apology, obviously coming into this one, I may have forgot when I said in the last video that the sprint race would be going up on Sunday, because I was kind of in the middle of the Daytona 24. So apologies about that, but we are back today though, ready for the second race of the weekend. Obviously, if you guys missed out on the first one, I would highly recommend going back and checking it out. It was quite a weird and wonderful little race in the end. But for the sprint race, we start P5. And really, this is probably a race that we definitely want to win. Obviously, this was the one race in the 2019 season that Mick Schumacher actually won in real life. So I would really like to emulate that here today. But yeah, we start P5 though on the grid. I'm just going to jump straight into it. Let's get this party started. The 5 lights are coming on now. Joe on pole ahead of Hubert, and it is lights out and away. We finally get going there. A long old hold off the start, and as predicted, not a particularly brilliant getaway for myself as we head down towards turn 1. Hopefully no one will come out over towards the outside line. We get a bit of a squeeze from someone as we head in towards turn 1. I think that was, yes, Nicholas Latifi. But we do hold on. Only losing the one place off the start. I guess we will take that. Got to get back used to the Formula 2 car now as we head down the hill in towards turn 2 and turn 3. We got Giotto trying to look round the outside, the consistency man, but we slammed the door shut on him. I think they're going 3 wide behind us. So hopefully we can try and make a bit of a breakaway from all of them as we head down in through sector 2. But yeah, obviously not really close enough to the top guys at the moment as we head through the chicane. Just trying to get everything back up. You know, remember how the car handles, everything like that. It has been a few days since I've driven the Formula 2 cars. I do always have to try and get back into it again as we head in towards the final sector of the opening lap. We've done alright off the start. Now let's just focus on closing up to King. End of lap 1, Joe still leads the way. We're just behind King, 3/10 back at the moment there. Giotto a further 6/10 behind myself. Thought about going for the send up the inside of King, but a little bit too far back this time round. Obviously, one person that we definitely need to outscore here is Set a Camera. Obviously, De Vries is still our main title rival, as well as obviously Giotto, who's just behind us. But obviously, De Vries is probably going to be nowhere in this race. He might be able to scrape a couple of points right at the very end, but I don't think, hopefully, he's not going to be too much of a threat today. But Set a Camera, yeah, is looking at it, the only person on the title fight that's ahead of me at the moment. So we need to try and focus on getting up to him. But first of all, yeah, we need to get past one Jordan King, which we couldn't do in the feature race. So we'll have to wait and see what we can do in this sprint. King going defensive. Can we do what we kept doing in the feature race? Yes, we can. That was a bit unexpected in all honesty.
Good job.
But
Nice overtake.
we'll make it work. We're now back up into our grid position, and now we can start trying to make more forward progress there. King is very consistent around this circuit, but we shall keep at it and now try to close up on Delatraz. Another new fastest lap. We've got the pace at the moment. We've closed down the gap to Delatraz. Go for a nice lock up in towards T1. But now, yeah, we seem to be able to close up to people quite easily, but like is always the case at Hungary, getting past them is a very different challenge. But we'll wait and see what opens up. Now all over the back of Delatraz as we head onto lap 6. Just 3/10 back at the moment. These AI always seem to be able to get a better run down the start-finish straight. I think we're running a lot higher wing, which it does allow us to keep a bit closer through the corners though, so we'll see if we can open up anything in the next lap or so. But I mean, we're not even halfway there yet, and I mean, Joe, Hubert and Sate Camera aren't breaking away, so I guess we can look at the positives as well as we head down the hill there. Delatraz hasn't actually got a particularly good run here. Might be able to try and have a bit of a look. No, slanted or should. A bit of contact as we head through the corner. Now up the hill we go. Can we go for a bit of a cheeky switchback? Are we going to force him defensive? No, we just couldn't get on the power as early as I would have liked. We're basically just pushed him along at the moment. So easy to just drop these cars ever so slightly. Oh, yellow flag's out. Not too sure who that is. It's Luca Giotto. So another big man in the title fight has suffered with reliability issues here. It seems to be the story throughout a lot of this championship so far. But Luca Giotto is out of the Hungarian Grand Prix sprint race. I mean, it was only looking like he was going to score a couple of points, but we always kept going on about the consistency, man, and it seems that, well, that consistency, unfortunately, hasn't worked out well for him today. Can we get close enough to Delatraz, though? Oh, that was lucky. We went for the send. Delatraz certainly wasn't going to give us the room there, but he locked up in towards the corner, so it's over to P4. Really, in 99% of occasions there, we would have been span around, but we will take it. Up into P4, Sete Camera next up the road, and now we're fighting for a podium again. Another fastest lap of the Grand Prix. We are really applying the pressure.
18.6 seconds.
He's at the inside of Sete Camera as well, despite being most of the way past him. He still tried to turn in on us, so we're giving him a squeeze on the exit of the corner there. And we're up into the podium. Hubert and Joe to go. On to lap 10 we go. 5 laps left of this race, and we're really, really pushing. Unfortunately, obviously, Hubert's got that little bit of defence in, obviously, Joe giving him the DRS, but we're going to go for it. The aggressive lunges.
Nice move. Good job.
Oh, big fishtail on the exit. Hubert's got back around the outside. Can we keep the nose in? I think it's, yeah, no chance. But, I mean, at the moment, what in the perfect world, what we do is force Hubert into a small error. So he's got no DRS to defend with from Joe up in the lead, but I just don't think it might be close now. In towards the final couple of corners then of lap 11, just 3 laps to go of this race here. Can we potentially open up a bit of a move on Hubert? Out of the final corner we go. We got the DRS on him. He certainly doesn't have it on Guan Yu Zhou here, as he's going to go defensive in towards someone. We're going to have a look further to the inside. Hubert, big lockup in towards the first corner there. Still tries to turn in, even though we're quite clearly on the inside. And we've finally got ourselves up into P2 of this Grand Prix. Guan Yu Zhou, a good couple of seconds now up the road as we head down through the first couple of corners. Down the hill we go. A bit of a fishtail there. What is the gap to Zhou in the lead of this race? It is 1.6. That's the gap. We've got 3 laps to close down. Let's do this thing. I am winning this race. I've decided to drop out the race quite late on here. But what is the gap to Zhou? Another fastest lap.
That's a new fastest lap for the race.
Only 9/10 back from Guan Yu Zhou though. We've taken 7/10 out of him in 2/3 of a lap here. We need to try and get up to him. We need to be able to go for something down in towards turn 1 on this final lap. Down in sector 3, the gap's down to half a second. We got a little bit loose there, but we are pushing like crazy, taking everything we possibly can out of the tyres. Can we get close enough to go for a lunge on Zhou in towards turn 1? Sector 3 always seems to be quite strong for us relative to the AI here as we head through the final corner. It's going to be a bit far back at the moment there. We get a huge fishtail out of the final corner. What is the gap? 0.4 of a second. We're not going to be close enough to go for something in towards turn 1 here, but we are certainly going to be very, very close as long as we don't make any mistakes through the first couple of corners here. Can we potentially open up a move somewhere else on this final lap? We need to try and go for something. If any opportunity opens up, we've got to be there, ready to pounce down through turn 2 and turn 3. Really try to get on the power nice and tidy there. A little bit wide on the exit. Just goes to show how much we're pushing as we head down in towards Sector 2 here. Look at that. Basically now pushing Joe through the corners here. Not much to separate us as we head up the hill. Is Joe going to go defensive? Sort of. Not really in the end. We're almost pushing him as we head down in towards the chicane. There a little bit of a lockup coming in from the Virtuosi driver here as we head down in towards Sector 2. Through the S's we go. Can we get the power on somewhere that allows us to open up a move? Try to avoid that outside curb. We're basically just pushing him along. Come on, we've got to try and find any sort of opportunity. Oh, Joe, a little bit early on the brakes. Wasn't expecting that. We've muscled our way to the inside there. We're still side by side though. Joe's going to keep the nose up the inside. There are a lot of understeer through the corner. Can we keep it hooked up around the outside though? We've got the inside for the final corner. Come on, let's do this thing. Hold it. Park it on the exit. Don't allow him to get the run. And through the final corner, in the very last seconds, we go and take the win here in Hungary. What a result.
Here's our winner, pulling their Prema into Parc Ferme then. What a fantastic race. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
I think they kept a cool head. That's why they won today. Smooth, steady, everything bad that happened to them, they handled it calmly and professionally. That's what let them focus on getting the best out everything else. The car, the strategy, they managed to keep out of trouble the whole way around.
As we look back on a thrilling race here today, we can now see the drivers take their places on the podium. It's a familiar sight by now, as it's another successful F2 win for Prema. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. It's a good result for Mick Schumacher, who extends his advantage at the top of the championship. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
Probably Jade Aitken. You know, strong pace, good work with the strategy, just a very complete drive, I think.
And here's how things are shaping up in the Teams Championship. We saw a dip in form from the championship leaders today. Their lead has taken a significant blow. That's the end of today's race. Thank you for joining us, and I'm sure you'll agree it was a great race and sets us up nicely for the next instalment in a few weeks' time. Take care. From Davide and I, it's goodbye.
So, there we are then, guys. The end of the F2 sprint race here from Budapest, and it certainly did not disappoint there. I wasn't actually planning on going for the move up the inside of Joe in towards those final couple of corners. He broke a little bit earlier than I was expecting. We slipped down the inside, just trying to avoid him, avoid getting any front wing damage. But we locked up, and we parked it on the inside there. Joey did try to keep the nose in, there was no warnings from the stewards. They all thought it was fair at the end of the day, and we take the win by just 1/10 of a second at the end of the day. They're ahead of the Virtuosi driver there. Hubert, though, holds on to yet another podium in the title fight. Sete Camera in fourth, ahead of Delatraz, Jordan King, Latifi, and Mazepin there round out the point scorers. But yeah, Davide Valsecchi, absolutely right. Jack Aitken, 18th to 9th in just 14 laps there. That was a fantastic drive by him, ahead of Ilott, Correa, Boccalacci, Nick de Vries, one of my main target rivals there as well, all the way down in 13th at the end of the day, ahead of Alesi. My teammate Galea led down in 15th, not too sure what happened to him at the end of the day, ahead of Raghunathan, Calderon, Bolshung there with Matsushita and Giotto both not making it through to the end of the race there. But in terms of the championship, now a 30-point lead over de Vries and Giotto there, obviously after both of them failed to score in today's race there. Sete Camera still in fourth, ahead of Jordan King and Hubert, who have both now jumped past Latifi. Just 2 points separates the three of them there. 6 points separates 5th down to 8th there of Louis Delatraz. With Aitken 9th, Galeel, Joe, Matsushita, Correa, Nikita Mazepin jumps past Bolshung there, and still just Calderon, Alesi, and Raghunathan left to score. In terms of the Constructors' Championship, though, 4 points back now from Dams. We have taken a little bit out of those guys as well in the championship fight there. Ahead of Virtuosi, ART, Carlin, MP, BWT, Campos, Sauber, and Trident there. But in terms of that weekend, obviously we did score the most points, but only 6 over Luca Giotto there. So although he didn't quite get the result he would have wanted in that second race, so I'm sure he can still take second most points in the race weekend there. But yeah, a 30-point lead as we head into my favourite track on the Formula 1 calendar. Get yourselves back here, get yourselves subscribed. Next time, we will be back at Spa.